This episode is proudly sponsored by Chill Bombs, the makers of handmade, all-natural CBD-infused bath bombs. Check them out at chillbombs.com and use our code SPIRITS for 10% off. Enjoy the show, y'all! Hey, y'all, I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer tonight is Juicy Bunny Pale Ale. Proudly brewed and packaged by Straight to Ale in Huntsville, Alabama. 6.2% alcohol by volume. And nothing on the cans, just like there never is with straight ale stuff. So let's read the online description. Project Juicy Bunny quickly hopped onto the schedule as a limited release brew set to come out for the first time in cans. There's loads of late edition and dry hopping with healthy doses of very fruit-forward hops. It's got a soft mouthfeel with a nice haze, and it's so very juicy. That's a little bit of a strange explanation, I'd say. But I enjoy this beer quite a bit. It's delightfully refreshing, and it is juicy. There's some kind of citrus flavor in there. Not sure what.
Tastes kind of grapefruity to me, but I've only
does.
ever had it in the tap room. So
Yeah, we've only ever had it in the tap room. We just found these cans for the first time, and love it. It's easy drinking. It's got the perfect amount of bitter, because it's not a crazy pale ale. It's just really nice, really smooth. I recommend this to anyone that would like to try it. 9.5 out of 10 overall. Really good beer, and I can't wait to drink all 4 of them. They do come in 4-packs. That's my only gripe. So.
But it has a really cute picture of a bunny on the front. So
It does.
What are you going to do?
They always have good can art.
Yeah, I don't know who their artist is, but they're very talented.
I agree. Our shot in the dark for the night. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire. Produced and bottled by Jack Daniel Distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee. 35% alcohol by volume. And this one does have a nice big bottle section, so let's read the bottle. The Jack Daniel Fire Brigade stands ready to protect our fine whiskey from fire's threat. Sometimes, though, mixing fire and whiskey is a good thing. Our Tennessee Fire blends red-hot cinnamon liqueur with the smooth character of Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 for a classic spirit with a fiery finish. Well, for me, if you're a regular listener, you will know that I do not like Jack Daniels at all. So this one is surprising to me. This is absolutely delicious. It is so good. I recommend drinking this by itself all the time. You can mix it in with stuff if you want. We do have a recommendation for that coming up. But this got a 10 out of 10 on ice. It's so smooth. You don't taste any burn. Just nice, sweet, cinnamon, smooth flavor. It's wonderful. I even let Leah try it by itself, and she liked it.
Oh, you let me try it by myself? You're such a gentleman.
I allowed you. I said, trust me, try this one by itself. You'll like it, because you've never liked any of them by themselves on ice.
That's not true. I like straight Jack Daniels by itself on ice.
Oh, you freak.
I like Jack Daniels. I know you don't, but I mean, like, that Tennessee whiskey kind of sweetness, I like that. It's my thing. One of my favorite things to drink in a bar is just a Jack Sour. I like
Well, that's
that.
not Jack Daniels by itself.
No, but I mean, I'm saying, like, Jack Daniels is a great, like, I don't like to mix it with Coke like a lot of people do. Like, it's fine, but I prefer a Lynchburg lemonade. If I can get one. Shit's
honestly,
delicious.
That is really good. I like anything sour, though, but this one I recommend by itself, because that cinnamon flavor is off the fucking chain. It's so good. We did make a cocktail. It also got a 10 out of 10, mostly because the liquor's just really good. We mixed it with apple cider and ginger ale. 1 shot of the Fire with 2 shots of apple cider, and just top it off with ginger ale. Really good, really refreshing, crisp. But I recommend having it by itself. It's wonderful. It's 35% and you'd never know it. It's so good. So it got a 10 out of 10 overall. And I'm happy to say that there is a Jack Daniels product that I am a fan of.
Have you ever had the honey one?
I don't think I have.
That shit's delicious. You would like that one too.
Yeah, I really don't think I have. But we'll have it on soon. Maybe not soon. Y'all know how we are with buying liquor. But we'll have it on at some point for sure.
The honey one is really good.
I look forward to that. Well, Leah, we are done with the alcohol section.
Okay.
So what do we have next?
We have 2 new Possum Passel members. Yes.
Hold on. God damn it.
You've got like the one job, man. Yes. Yay.
No, not that one. Gone.
What an addition. All right, y'all. Mitchell.
Send in a fax. Here come the new patrons.
We have 2 brand new members of the Possum Passel.
All right.
They have gone to patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast.
Oh, is that where we are?
That is where they have gone. Southern Spirits, patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. Shit, I'm bad at this.
Sorry.
But they've gone to patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast, and they have decided to give us some money, and we really appreciate it. Our first new Possum Passel member is Leisha, and they pledged at the buy us a beer level. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining.
Welcome.
We appreciate you so much.
We'll get you some swag out soon.
I would say your stickers are in the mail.
Well, not yet, but they're coming.
Well, I mean, like by the time anyway, they're in the mail, Leisha, okay. I promise. Anyway, and then we also have Cody, and Cody pledged at the buy us a bottle level, which is really freaking awesome. Thank you very much.
Another damn t-shirt.
We actually already did that one, didn't we?
No, I've sent Cody a message to give us the t-shirt size. I have not heard back, and honestly, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but I was going to say Cody needs to send us a t-shirt size because I haven't gotten a message or an email back, and I've sent them both. So sending out the warnings. If you know Cody, tell them that we need their
t-shirt size. Yeah.
Please.
But seriously, thank you so much for pledging. That's fabulous. You're awesome. Thank you so much. We super appreciate it. Every single dollar that you give us really helps us to be able to produce more content.
Yeah,
and speaking of more content, if you haven't listened to our midweek mini from this past week, you missed out because we have decided to start doing a new thing for our Patreon members. Mm-hmm. So starting this very week, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you're going to get me doing a dramatic reading of one of my favorite creepypastas every week. Just every week.
From here on out?
Yeah, from here on out.
And I'm not involved whatsoever.
No,
and it's quite nice.
Just me sitting there telling you a creepy story that I got off of Reddit. It's awesome.
If you like dick jokes, sorry, you don't get them.
Maybe we can just have Mitch's dick joke hour and then just...
I'd do that.
Yeah.
I'd totally do that.
Just Mitch telling dick joke after dick joke for a few minutes. The
problem is it would devolve into me talking about my penis. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, I know, Mitch. It definitely would. Anyway, so yeah, if you're interested in that at all, go listen to this midweek mini. Give it a little taste. If you like the way I sound, if you like me reading stories to you, go give us at least $1 on Patreon. That's our lowest level. $1 a month gets you access to 4 creepypastas and some stickers and stuff.
It's one a week, so it could be 4, it could be 5.
But
whatever happens.
Whatever. But my point is, it's going to be over there, so go subscribe. Thank you very much.
And we haven't picked a day of the week for that. It's just at some point during the week there will be a creepypasta out every week. So
hopefully on Sunday, but who knows? We'll see.
There you go.
Anyway, moving on.
All right.
Thank you, Possum Passel members.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, we should go directly into a funny place name. Are you ready for that?
I'm so ready.
All right. We are going back to Texas because I found a website, y'all, that has like all of the towns and the little places in Texas like just laid out, and then like you can click on them and it'll tell you why they're called that. Oh, yeah. It's fucking awesome. And there's some really weird names in Texas that we haven't covered yet. And
we need those for every state.
Is what I know. I've been looking for them, but I guess only Texas cares.
Yeah.
I mean, but Texas is basically a country by itself, so there you go. Real. I mean, it's huge. So anyway, we are going to Telephone, Texas.
All right, telephone.
Telephone.
Cellular telephone?
Nope, just regular telephone.
Wired telephone.
Yep.
Landline, Texas.
Definitely landline. So this area, it's a very small community. I think as of the last census, there were only about 210 people in the area. So it's very small. It's more of a community than a town. And so the first settlers in this area arrived in 1870. And they just sort of hung out, not being incorporated, didn't name themselves. It was just sort of a farm community of several families that had their, ranches and stuff nearby.
Okay.
And there was this dude, and his name was Pete Hindman, and he opened up and owned the local general store. And he decided, you know what, we need a fucking post office, because that's how all these stories start.
Yeah, almost everyone that
almost
I've
all of
experienced.
them is like, dude, we got to have a post office. We got to find a way to get mail into this bitch. So he had his general store. He wanted to have a post office in his general store. So to have a post office, you got to have a name for your post office. Mm-hmm. So he comes up with a name, which is never mentioned what it is. And he sends it off to the postal
So we don't even know what that was?
No, of course not.
Okay.
He does that whole thing. He says, okay, we want to be called insert name here. And they said, I'm sorry. Turns out there's already one of those in Texas.
There's already an insert name here, Texas.
There's already one of those. You got to pick something else. And he's like, okay, fine. And he picks another name and he sends it off to the post office. And they say, ooh, sorry, bro. Too late. That one's already taken too. He tries this 15 times. And he cannot manage to come up with a fucking name that hasn't already been taken by someone else in Texas. And he gets frustrated and irritated. And he's like, look, my store has the only fucking telephone for miles. You know what we're going to call this bitch?
Telephone. Beat ya.
So that's what they did. And he sent it in. And the post office was like, yeah, we don't have another telephone, Texas, so you can have it. So in 1886, the telephone post office was opened. And, that's what the community grew up around, was that store and that post office. Mm-hmm. So the community was, in fact, named Telephone. And it's still Telephone? It's still called Telephone today. Like I said, only about 210 people, so it's a very small community, but
and there's still only the one phone in the town.
Well, no, I think they've got phones now, but it does, most of the time these stories end with the post office isn't open anymore. Mm-hmm. But the telephone post office is in fact still open, and its zip code is 75488.
Why is that important?
It's not.
Okay, I thought there was some meaning to the numbers, and that's why you laughed. But
nope.
It was just because
you knew I'm weird,
okay.
And I put that in my notes.
Okay.
That I thought everybody needed to know.
I'm on the same page. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it myself. Thank you. So any of our Texas listeners, please head over to Telephone. Send us a post office box. What am I saying?
Postcard?
Postcard. What the fuck?
I'm really doubting that Telephone, Texas. I'm very much doubting that a town of 200 people has their own postcards, but I don't know.
They don't count as a town.
Maybe I'm wrong. If they do, y'all send me one.
I was trying to say send us a postcard to our post office box.
Yeah.
And it did not come out correctly. I've had some fire. And it's delicious. Mm. But yeah, that P.O. Box is P.O. Box 1743 in Hartselle, Alabama. And don't worry, you'll hear it with spelling again at the end of the episode.
And in the show notes, because it's always there.
Correct.
Anyway, so that was our funny place name.
Yay! That was really fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed Telephone. Mm-hmm. Well, what are we going to do now?
All right, well, I have a very fun story for the first story today, and I'm looking forward to telling it.
I prefer fun ones.
We are going to the great state of North Carolina, and we are talking about the story of Boojum and Hootenanny.
Okay. I can't wait to hear about this.
Now, and just as a side note, just a weird side tangent. One of my friends, Sarah, just adopted a new cat because her sweet baby kitty passed away a couple months ago, and I loved that cat. But anyway, she adopted a new cat. It was an adult cat. It already had a name, and its name was Boojums. Mm-hmm. And we both thought that it was a Lewis Carroll quote because he uses that word in it's like a made-up word that he uses in one of his poems, kind of colloquial, Jabberwocky kind of thing,
Okay.
He uses the word boojums, and that's the only time I had ever heard that word. And then I was doing research for this, and it turns out that a boojum is also a weird cryptid from North Carolina.
Okay.
So my thought is maybe the cat's named after this weird Bigfoot. I don't know.
Maybe it
but
is.
I need to tell her
Bigfoot.
about it, and I don't know. I feel like she would love it because she's very much into the Bigfoot and the alien kind of thing like I am.
Let's call her right now on the
Boojums.
podcast. Let me plug my phone in.
Hey, Sarah,
We'll
your
make a
cat
call.
might be named after a Sasquatch.
By the way, we need you to sign a release because you're on the air.
Anyway, so yeah, I feel like that cat might be named after this story.
Okay, I bet it
Tangentially.
is because I've never heard that word. Period. So there's I think it's a 0% chance that the cat is not named after that, but we'll see.
All right, so we're talking about the story of Boojum and Hootin' Annie from North Carolina.
All right.
All right, so there's a mountain there in South Carolina, and it's Eagle Nest Mountain. It's on the southern edge of the Balsam Mountain Range. And on that mountain, well, mountain adjacent, I guess, there was a hotel at one point. It was built in 1900. It was called the Eagle Nest Hotel, and it was built by a man named Mr. S.C. Scatterthwaite.
Good God.
Scatterthwaite. Sorry, that's
It's probably Scatterthwaite, yeah.
It's Scatterthwaite.
Well,
That
this is fun
such
so
a terrible
far.
name. Anyway,
You're so judgmental.
I'm not judgmental. I just don't. It makes me sound like a lisp, regardless of what I try. It's awful. Anyway, so they had this lovely hotel out there in the middle of these gorgeous woods, and everybody just loved it. And it was just like it's where you went to go see nature and stuff like that. Well,
All right.
nature's great until you start, having encounters with the strange creatures that live in that area. And it turns out they had a very strange creature living in that area. They had this, I guess Sasquatchian is the best way I can put it. But it wasn't quite a man. It wasn't quite a monkey. It was somewhere, on the hipster Yeti continuum.
Yeah.
It fell somewhere in the middle.
We've spoken of that before.
Yeah, see our earlier episodes. There was a chart that I made early on Instagram. If you really want to scroll back and look, but
Oh, you actually made a chart?
No, I did.
Oh, I just
It's a
knew we had an
graphic.
episode
It's very
titled that. I didn't remember.
But yeah, he's somewhere in the middle on the hipster to Yeti continuum, and so the description of the creature is he stands about 8 feet tall, and he's entirely covered in shaggy gray hair except for the face, and the face is more of a human-like face. Sort of more hairless, I guess, and
A hairless face?
for the most part, yeah. I mean, I still think it had like facial hair, like where men, like people would have facial hair, but around the eyes and the cheeks and stuff like that were
So a man
bare.
face and a Yeti body.
Yes.
So me. It was me.
It was you. You were, except taller.
And gray hair everywhere. Yeah. I'm just getting some gray on top of my head and in my beard. It hasn't gotten everywhere yet.
Yeah, it is in your beard, though. Pretty
It's coming.
heavy.
It's coming.
All right, so this creature, as I'm sure you would assume from our previous conversation about the cat, the creature's name was the Boojum. Boojum, Boojum. And he was, just hanging out in the woods for the most part. But he did have some weird habits that freaked some people out just a little bit. So shot in the dark,
Oh, shit.
Boojum had a really weird habit of collecting and hoarding one particular type of item. What did Boojum hoard? Did he hoard A, moonshine? Did he hoard B, precious stones? Or did he hoard C, underpants?
Oh, 100% underpants. Without a doubt, underpants. Like, I'm not even considering anything else.
It's not underpants.
God damn it.
I put it in there because I thought underwear gnomes were funny.
Yeah, and you're right. They are. All right. Well, what was it?
It was precious stones.
Oh, well, precious to whom? Because that's objective. I feel.
To everybody.
So like diamonds and rubies and shit.
Yep. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. I'm awesome.
Rubies and emeralds, actually, no diamonds.
Oh, no sapphires? Fuck that guy.
Rubies and emeralds. So rubies and emeralds are naturally found throughout some of those mountain ranges in North Carolina. And Boojum fucking loved them. He would like hunt and find these little pretty sparkly stones, and he just hoarded them like a dragon. And so he actually loved these stones so much that he would the hotel that was around this area had a lot of tourists, and tourists are always trashy and awful, and they were leaving their liquor jugs just sort of thrown away in the woods. So he would find these liquor jugs, and he would take them, and he would fill these jugs up with his precious little rubies and emeralds, and he would just fill these things full of gems. And he would bury them in caves.
Where would he find them? The gems?
Huh?
Where would he find them?
In the mountains. That's what I said. They're naturally occurring in the North Carolina mountain ranges.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know rubies and emeralds were up in there.
Yeah, there's some deposits of both of that. So I think... Now, I could be completely wrong here, but I think that emeralds and rubies are made out of the same thing, but the colors differ because of the minerals that are included. So I think they're a corundum of some sort. Look, I took geology in college because it was the least amount of math I had to do in a science class. But anyway, I think they're made of the same type of thing, of like chemically structured, but it's just whatever trace element that's included in that particular deposit makes it a ruby or an emerald just based on the color.
I don't know shit about this stuff.
Yeah, and so it's got that deposit of that stuff, but whatever the trace minerals in the area that the deposit's in makes it green or red. So yeah. Anyway, so that is a very weird geological tangent.
No, keep talking about it. Keep going.
But anyway, he filled up these liquor bottles with all of his precious little gemstones, and he buried them in the caves out in the mountains, and only he knew where all of them were, and he just, he dragon hoarded them. So that was his first weird thing. His second weird thing is that he was a little bit of a peeping Tom. He was a voyeur for sure.
Creep ass.
Yeah, he is a creep ass Sasquatch. It's bad, and we're going to talk about it. So, his bad habit was that he liked to look at pretty ladies. And, back then, running water wasn't much of a thing, especially not back in the mountains. So, when you want to take a bath, you've got a couple of options. You can get like a bathing tub, like a wash tub, and sort of sponge bash splash your way to it.
Yeah,
or
hooker
you
bath.
can, yeah.
They normally call that a hooker bath where I'm from.
Or you can go to the woods, find a pond or a little stream or whatever, and you get in and you swim around and clean yourself off, in the nakedness, Well, turns out that Boojum knew a little pond under a waterfall that lots of ladies like to go to bathe in.
Oh, hey.
And Boojum just sort of climbed a tree or stuck up on the rocks on top of the cliff, just peeping down, looking at the ladies.
Breathing heavily.
Yeah, being super creepy. And eventually a woman would get there. She would start taking off all of her clothes, get in the water, having fun, splashing around, getting clean. And then she'd hear a rustle in the bushes or some leaves would shake. And she'd look up and see this hairy face looking down at her. And she'd freak the fuck out.
Ugh.
And she would quickly yank her clothes back on and run off just as fast as she could, because clearly A, creep ass, and B, Sasquatch. So the creep ass Sasquatch is after these ladies,
Yeah.
But it turns out that there was a lady named Annie. And Annie didn't give a shit who was watching her, she was going to enjoy that stream regardless.
Annie was a freak.
Yeah. And so she was bathing in the stream in the grove of trees on the Eagle Nest Mountain. And she was just having fun, and she heard a rustling, and she looked up, and she saw Boojum just staring down at her like the creep ass he is.
Ugh.
And Annie was like, all right, creep ass, it's fine, whatever you feel.
This was
not a problem.
The first recorded cam show.
I was about to say that she's a ye old cam girl. And she looked up into Boojum's face. And she saw his sad eyes. And she saw...
I'm going to make him feel better.
Yeah, and she saw that he was just lonely and he needed a friend. So she fell in love with him.
Oh.
Yeah, she fell deeply in love with the Boojum. And she was like, you know what? Fuck my family. I got this Boojum now. We're going to get married and I'm going to go live in the mountains with him.
Look at all these stones he has. We about to be rich.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Oh, God.
I ain't saying she's an emerald digger, but anyway. So, yeah. They moved into the mountains and they were living together as husband and wife, like they do. It's very Beauty and the Beast up in here.
Well, he didn't kidnap her.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
There's that much. At least she was a willing victim.
Yeah.
Well, not a victim. That's rude. She has agency in this story. She chose to
be a victim.
To marry the creep ass. But anyway, so she loved Boojum and Boojum loved her. But Boojum also still really loved those stones. Like, was all about those precious jewels. Mm-hmm. So sometimes at night he would leave Annie alone in their cave and he went searching for jewels on the mountain. And Annie was really tired of him leaving all the time, and she got really lonely. And so she would go out and search for Boojum, just trying to get him to come back home and hang out. Mm-hmm. And so she developed this kind of weird noise, kind of a holler that she'd do that would sort of carry throughout the mountains. And it was described as sort of a cross between a monkey and an owl hooting.
What?
And she'd make that sound to call to Boojum, and Boojum would call back to her, and eventually...
It's like Tarzan.
Yeah, it was like a Marco Polo game across the mountains to see, if they could get close to each other again. And so a lot of people that were staying at the Eagle's Nest Hotel reported hearing these noises, all this hooting noises. And actually, the term hootenanny comes from this story.
No, it does not.
It does. There's a folklorist named John Paris, and that phrase can be traced back to this particular story. And they call it hootenanny. And it's a hootenanny. And anyway,
God.
that word first appeared in the English language around the turn of the 20th century. Mm-hmm. And it meant any kind of party or a get-together or whatever, but it wasn't really popularized until folk singers like Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie really started using it in their songs and stuff like that. And that became more of a thing. But yeah, that's where the hootenanny comes from, But yeah, so that's a thing. And a lot of people say that in that area that Annie and Boojum must have had a bunch of babies, because people still occasionally see like shaggy ape-like creepy creatures.
I was going to say a bunch of hairy babies.
A bunch of hairy babies. Just they see these kind of creatures throughout the woods of Haywood County. They're in the mountains. So
yeah. I just want to say something here. Is the story over?
Yeah, that was all of it.
Okay. I normally sit here with my phone where I have the alcohol stuff, to you know this, Leah, but I'm telling everyone else. So I have all the alcohol stuff that I read off at the beginning. I use that same sheet to write down, type out prospective episode titles as we go. And I'm closing this all out because we have decided on Ye Olde Camgirl.
Have we?
Yes, there's nothing's going to top that. There's a 0% chance that something is as brilliant as Ye Olde Camgirl. Like, you want the clickbait titles. That will fucking do it.
Alrighty then.
Just like watching a girl strip through a camera obscura or something. That's all I'm thinking.
So weird.
Oh, God, that's so funny.
So weird.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that's Boojums.
That was so much fun just because of Ye Olde Camgirl.
Yeah.
But I liked the rest of it. I still find it hard to believe that Hootenanny came from that. I get it. I'm stubborn. You know that. I'm skeptical about fucking everything.
Yeah, you're kind of the worst.
And when there's something that I've just known for forever, like the word Hootenanny, when someone says, this is where it came from, I immediately go, nuh-uh, that can't be it. I mean, it probably is, but I'm just saying, nuh-uh.
I mean, according to the folklorist John Paris, who's actually a pretty well-known folklorist,
okay,
that's where it came from, but
well, I believe
don't know.
it. I believe it now. You convinced me.
Okay.
But, you know. All right.
I mean, I have no dog in that fight. I just like saying the word, so regardless of where it came from.
Yeah.
Hootenanny.
All right. Well, how about story number 2 then?
All right. Well, for story number 2, we're going to get a little bit more depressing.
No, I liked the fun one. I want
I'm
another
sorry.
fun one.
I buttered you up with a fun one, and now someone's going to die.
Never mind. We're changing it to I Buttered You Up. That's the episode title now. Okay. Well, let's get nice and depressing.
All right. So we're going to be going to West Virginia, and we are talking about the mysterious death of Mamie Thurman.
I do not know who that is.
Yeah, well, I didn't either until I started doing research.
Here we go. You said West Virginia?
West Virginia.
All right.
Okay, so there was a woman, and her name was Mamie Thurman, right?
Weird.
And she was a housewife, and she lived in Logan, West Virginia with her husband, Jack Thurman. They had moved to Logan from their actual hometown in Louisville, Kentucky in 1924. So they were living in Logan, West Virginia. They were actually renting a little apartment that was over the garage of the garage was in the backyard, obviously, of a local family named Harry and Louise Robertson. And they were sort of well-to-do folks of the town, and they had, an apartment to let out. So that's where they were renting.
All right.
And Mr. Robertson was he worked at the National Bank there in town, and he was the treasurer of the public library. His wife was the treasurer of the local women's club. They were both really active in church. They were fancy folk that had money and were prestigious in town. They were those people. And Jack, so Mamie's husband, Jack, was working as like a patrol officer, there in town, and it was actually Mr. Robertson that helped him get that, because he was also the president of the city commission. So this guy's got a lot of shit going on. But anyway.
Jesus.
So back to Mamie. Some people said in the town that Mamie was a really good wife. She was a really sweet lady. She was just a saintly, faithful church-going lady. She attended the Nibert Memorial Church. It was a real fancy, nice church near the train tracks there in Logan. Just a really nice, chill lady that was good to help everybody. And she was, just a good church lady.
All right.
Other people did not say the same thing.
Okay.
This was a pretty small town, and lots of people like to gossip.
And she was the town hoe?
Lot. And yeah.
Oh, called it.
Apparently, the scuttlebutt around town was that she was quite a loose woman. And no slut shaming here, not my business. You fuck who you need to fuck, but...
All right, episode title has changed. Fuck who you need to fuck.
Anyway, but yeah, maybe don't fuck with people that are already married unless like you have an agreement with their spouse too. Anyway, whatever.
Okay. Whatever.
Consenting adults on all sides, please.
If you say so.
But anyway, so Miss Thurman allegedly had an ongoing relationship with Harry Robertson, and a lot of other people as well.
Jesus.
But on June the 22nd of 1932, there was a young dude named Garland Davis, and in every article I read, they describe him as a young deaf mute.
Oh, God. What?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I don't like that term. I mean, I know what it means,
Do you know what my mind immediately went to?
What?
Anne Frank. Because,
Sweetie.
God damn it, y'all.
No.
There is a Bert Kreischer joke that you have to look up from Comedy Central. It's called, just type in Bert Kreischer flying dildos on YouTube. Bert Kreischer thought that Anne Frank was Helen Keller for like a very long time. And it's, oh God, it's so funny.
It is, yeah.
But you said deaf mute, and I swear, like, not in a joking way. I immediately went, so he was like hiding from, oh, God damn it.
No.
I don't know why that happened.
We're talking Helen Keller, not Anne Frank.
I
but anyway.
know. God damn it.
So yes, Garland Davis, who is described as a young deaf mute, he stumbled upon something really bad while he was out picking blackberries for his family. Turns out that he discovered the body, and it was on 22 Mountain, which I didn't know that was.
They number their mountains in West Virginia?
It's what it's called is 22 Mountain.
Shit.
But the body of Mamie Thurman is what he found, obviously. And she had been murdered pretty bad. Not that I think there are degrees of murder technically, but anyway,
it wasn't
beside
a good
the point.
murder.
It was a very savage murder,
particularly gruesome.
Yeah, she was shot.
She wasn't Avada Kedavra.
No, she was shot in the head twice. Her neck was fractured. Her face was disfigured and powder burned. Her throat was cut from ear to ear and very deeply.
Jesus.
And yeah, it was really like a vicious, gruesome kind of like
somebody
killing.
Wanted her dead.
Was like angry and wanted her dead. And so anyway, gross. But the cops came out after the guy found her and they started investigating. So at 8:30 in the evening of June 22nd, so the same day they found her body, Mr. Harry Robertson was arrested, but they also arrested his handyman, who was a black gentleman named Clarence Stevenson, who worked for him.
Oh, well, he definitely did it then, knowing the 30s.
Jesus, yeah. That's where we're headed in that direction. Yeah, sucks, okay. Right? So they were both arrested and taken to the Logan County Jail for questioning. Clarence Stevenson, the handyman, said he was just living in the attic of the Robertsons' home. He did odd jobs for the family, but his main thing, like his main gig that he was hired for, was he took care of Mr. Robertson's hunting dogs. Robertson was a big, hunter, I guess, a prominent sportsman is what a lot of places said.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had hound dogs, and those dogs are expensive, and you have to keep them up, and you have to have them trained and all of that stuff. And that was the main thing that Mr. Stevenson was doing. He was taking care of the hunting dogs.
And still today, bird dogs are big.
Bird dogs are very expensive. Yeah. So Robertson, under questioning, admitted to the police that I was in an illicit affair with the lady that's dead. And he told the police how he would arrange to have liaison with Miss Thurman with the help of Clarence Stevenson. So basically he would tell his wife, hey, I'm going out fox hunting, and they would get the dogs in the truck, they would get the guns in the truck, and they'd drive off in the Ford. Well, Stevenson would drive him to wherever him and Miss Thurman were going to do stuff, and he'd drop him off and just sort of circle the block until they were done and pick him back up and go home, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it was a weird kind of sexual driving Miss Daisy kind of situation.
Okay.
Just very strange. Anyway, so that he admitted all of that to the police, let them know up front, hey, this is what was going on, etc. And so on July the 29th, a ton of people started gathering around the courthouse there in Logan at 6 o'clock in the morning. Lots of the like fancy prominent citizens were around, a lot of people that were associates of Harry Robertson, and it was a grand jury that had been convened, and a lot of people were there to, you know, be involved, I guess. I don't know what's involved in a grand jury. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I know vaguely, but I've never been a part of one.
I think it's just a lot of people being involved, like you were saying.
Anyway, shot in the dark.
Oh, shit. Okay.
While testifying to the grand jury, Harry Robertson made it known that Mamie Thurman had given him a list of prominent men in the community with whom she was having an illicit affair.
Oh, God. She had like a little black book?
She had a little black book and shared it with him. So the question is, how many men were on that list?
So many men.
Was it A, 4 men?
Oh.
Was it B, 8 men? Or was it C, 16 men?
16, without a doubt.
You are correct, sir.
Come on. There we go. All right, here's your shot. Now, we'll tell you this. I got the shivers after this one earlier.
The shivers.
It tastes fine, but then it hits your throat, and it's like, oh, shit, that's whiskey. And cinnamon whiskey. And, oh, God, you've already taken it. Jesus. What'd you think?
It's really good. I like that stuff.
Yeah, this is great fucking whiskey.
It just reminds me of my childhood because...
oh, Jesus.
What?
What happened to you?
No, not that I was drinking whiskey as a child, but...
Oh, no.
My grandmother, my mom's mom, who she died when I was like in 3rd grade, but when I was a younger kid...
She was always drinking cinnamon whiskey.
She actually was a teetotaler and never drank anything, but she kept the red hot cinnamon boxes of candy. She was a teacher. She was a 3rd grade teacher. And she kept the little mini boxes of like little hard candies or whatever for, I guess like she did something in her class where if you didn't get a card pulled or whatever all week, you got a candy at the end of the week. So she always had stuff like that. And she would buy these little boxes of cinnamon red hots. And I fucking loved those things. And I would just get handfuls of those little boxes of red hots. And it just reminds me of my grandmother. But anyway, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that I could give you a little bit of your childhood back. By purchasing this bottle of Jack Daniel's Fire.
And I actually got in trouble with the candy that one time because it was a Jolly Rancher in this instance, but I swallowed a Jolly Rancher and got it caught in my throat and I was turning blue and my mom was freaking out and so was she. And so they grabbed me and I was probably like 7 at this time and I was not a small kid. And so they like jerked me up by my ankles and shook me upside down on the front porch until I hacked that thing out. It was awful. Anyway.
What a way to save a child from choking.
It worked.
We're gonna shake
I didn't
it out
die.
of you.
I'm fine. But yeah, that's... It was a green apple Jolly Rancher that I almost died on.
I choked once when I was a small child on a hard candy of some sort. I don't think it was a Jolly Rancher, but, you know, like that. And I was sitting next to my brother, and he'd smacked me on the back, and I hacked it up. That was nice.
Yeah, no, they had to completely invert me. That is still one of my most vivid childhood memories, is being like choking to death and like being like flipped upside down and shaken until it fell out. But
it's so funny that they were just like, let gravity handle it.
Well, I mean, which is ridiculous because my mom was very well, like she was a respiratory therapist.
And she was the one yelling in the back, turn her upside down, shake it out of her.
Exactly. I don't know. It's just the whole thing was weird, but I remember it very vividly. But anyway, and like I said, I was kind of a fat kid, so I've been fat my entire life. But like,
I picked you up.
Both of them, each one took a leg and was shaking.
They would have just shaken you until you choked to death and been like, why didn't it work?
And what I don't understand...
This was the 90s, goddammit.
It was. And what I really don't understand, though, is we were inside when I was choking, but somehow I remember it happening and me choking out on the porch. So clearly my grandmother didn't want to get any kind of sticky something on her carpet. So they like flipped me upside down and took me outside so I could hack it up, not on the carpet.
Choke outside.
Y'all, we have seriously come a long way from the topic at hand. I apologize.
Leah likes fireballs.
Yeah, basically.
Or what were they called?
Red Hot. Red Hots.
Red Hots. There we go.
Anyway, so back to the story. There were 16 men on this lady's...
This bitch was getting it in.
Yeah, definitely.
Good for her.
I mean, whatevs. So
Early era feminist.
I don't know that I'd call it that, but whatever.
I'm all for it.
So, I mean, like I said, I don't care how many people you're fucking with, as long as, like, everybody involved's cool with the situation, there's consenting adults on all sides, you do you. But whatever. I don't think there were consenting adults on all sides, because I have a feeling some wives were about to be real pissed off about all this. But anyway.
Gross.
So, Robertson and Mamie were doing it, and so she gave him this list of all of the people in town that she was having an affair with. I mean, there were 16 men on that list, and he claimed that he was given this list about a year before the murder took place, when they were both working at the bank. And the quote from his testimony is, "One of the men is dead. All except 3 live in the city of Logan, and all are married but one." So basically, a bunch of people that have a vested interest in this not getting out, basically. Yeah. And it said that the list of all 16 of the men were never made public. Some people said that the men's names were actually released to the grand jury, but not to anybody else. But basically, something happened. I don't know if there were bribes involved. And
now a lady's dead.
But my point is someone pulled some kind of string to get this list not being published. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's a small town. There's probably an avid newspaper kind of thing going on. Something happened to keep that out of the newspaper. But anyway, yeah. So Robertson ended up in his testimony saying that the last time he saw Mamie was the very day that she was killed. He said that he left his house a little bit after he saw her to take his kids to the swimming pool. The swimming pool.
Swimming pool.
To the swimming pool that was like a town over. And after they did that, he said that evening he went to a local bar kind of area to go listen to a prize fight on the radio with his son, because apparently that used to be a thing.
Yeah.
It
wasn't TV.
Right? Sucks, man.
Yeah,
anyway.
Right. There wasn't.
And so he said after that was over, he and his son went home around 9 o'clock, and they were just at home the rest of the time. And his wife confirmed his statement, which, I mean, I don't know if I'd be as nice as his wife is being confirming these statements, but good for her. Anyway. So anyway, the magistrate, whose name was Elba Hatfield, which is a great name. Elba.
All right.
They told the grand jury that all of the evidence was really circumstantial, but it was pretty damaging. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But for some reason, he ruled that Robertson and Stevenson should have to basically answer any kind of indictment that was returned by the grand jury. So if the grand jury decided that they were guilty enough to be indicted, like, that had to stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it turns out that the jury deliberated for 4 days. They had an inquiry for 4 days, and on September the 15th of on September the 15th they came out with their verdict, and the very next day, sorry y'all, I'm getting there.
You a little fired?
All
right.
But anyway, the newspaper headlines read, "Harry Robertson not indicted."
Yay for Harry.
But guess who was indicted by the grand jury?
The guy who worked for him.
Mm-hmm. Clarence Stevenson.
Yep.
The black gentleman that worked for Mr. Robertson. Fuck, I'm a little messed up.
You're doing great, though.
He got indicted for and stood trial for the murder of Mamie Thurman. According to the newspaper there in the town, tons of people showed up for the trial, and they were very, like, just avid, rapt. Like, it was, I mean, something was happening in the town, you know, it was the entertainment. So, basically, it didn't go very well for Clarence. Clarence's time was completely accounted for, every single minute. There were witnesses attesting to everywhere that he was until 11 o'clock on June the 22nd, where he said, well, Mrs. Robertson said he went up to his attic bedroom and didn't come back down. So that would mean to me that, like, he's got an alibi, like, that everybody knows where he's been, and then he went to bed, like, of course, like, that's, yeah. But instead of saying, okay, that makes too much sense, they decided that, you know what, fucking guilty. And they only deliberated for 50 minutes.
50?
50 minutes.
Okay.
Before they returned with a guilty verdict. And they also recommended mercy, which is a life sentence instead of being hung, basically. So yeah, Stevenson's attorney was like, oh, hell no, this is a problem. And he entered a motion for a new trial. So on November the 15th of that same year, the Logan County NAACP branch went across the county, and they started these fundraisers to start raising money for the appeal. They had to collect $600 to file an appeal for whatever reason, and like 56 different churches in the area started taking donations, and they ended up raising the money that they needed, and they basically applied for the appeal. And, you know, thousands of people donated trying to get this, like, because everybody sort of saw this as like, yeah, something's wrong here. There's no way this actually happened. He's got an alibi. There's no evidence tying him to this murder at all. What the fuck? And it turns out that despite all of the efforts of all of these people that donated and tried to, like, help justice not be a total dickbag, the Supreme Court turned down his appeal in 1933. So he was sent to Moundsville Prison on August the 22nd of 1934. And then on June the 11th of 1939, he was transferred to a different prison. So it was Huttonsville Prison Farm, which sounds miserable. And he actually ended up dying there of stomach cancer on April the 24th of 1942. And then he was buried in May of that same year there on the prison farm, which still sounds fucking terrible. And so, yeah, they basically... as an aside, there was a guy that was in prison with this man, and his name was Norman Sloan, and he did jail time and was a cellmate with the Stevenson guy. And his quote, and this is very dubious, but his quote from it is, he told me he was hired to take the body to 22 Mountain and that he didn't do anything to Mamie Thurman. He never did say who killed her, but he said that he didn't do it. Stevenson told me it was all politics. So, I mean, once again, jailhouse snitches are never reliable, so I don't believe it, but... My thought is he clearly didn't do it. I think the Robertson dude did, or one of his friends did, you know.
Or one of the other 15 guys.
16. It was 16 plus
total.
him.
Oh, 16 plus him.
Yeah,
Okay.
17 totes. Anyway.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Once we go past 16, now you are a slut, ma'am.
16 was fine, but 17? Yeah. Oh, fuck no.
You filthy trollop. You have gone too far.
I just want you to remember that she was shot in the head, mutilated face, and slit from ear to ear.
All right.
Okay?
The
Maybe
first
we
story
don't
was
call
fun.
her a trollop.
Leah, you started it.
I did not.
I'm sorry.
I'm very warm.
I also don't slut shame.
That fireball is getting to me.
You're very warm?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I wish it was winter right now. all this cinnamon whiskey and everything, and this apple cider.
The apple cider gives me fall vibes all day long. I
know.
Love it.
I'm so ready for fall. God, I just want pumpkin spice. Everything.
You are so basic.
I am such a basic bitch. I fucking love. If I could fit into some Ugg boots, I would wear them. God damn it. Ugg boots do not go with my calves.
No, they don't.
And
Mine
you
either.
know that. But I fucking love pumpkin flavored shit. It's so good. Like our Kroger started selling pumpkin spice creamer year round, and I'm like, no, I can't. It has to be like 70 degrees all day before I do that. So, sorry, Kroger. I'll just stick with French vanilla for now.
But he's eyeing it. He's eyeing it.
I'm totally eyeing it. I'll get it once out of season every year. And then I'm like, I'm not even going to finish this, you know. But when fucking October gets here, pumpkin spice everything.
Pumpkin is gross.
No, you're wrong. Our dogs love pumpkin. Pumpkin's really good for dogs.
I was say pumpkin's good for their skin and hair and nails and stuff, but I don't like pumpkin. It tastes like a candle smells, and I hate it.
Well, no, you've only just
I've eaten real pumpkin, and it's gross.
No, you're wrong. Have you ever had pumpkin seeds?
Yeah, well, pumpkin seeds are different. Those things are delicious, but like just regular like flesh of a pumpkin, no thanks.
I disagree. I love pumpkin.
Which is weird because I love all things fall, but pumpkin is not good.
I disagree. Fall's my favorite time of year.
Mine too.
And I'll have pumpkin flavored everything.
I love fall weather, fall everything, fall holidays. Like, just give me that. But I'm more of a peppermint mocha kind of girl. If we're going basic white bitch Starbucks drinks, peppermint mocha is my favorite.
Probably what I look forward to every year is going to look at Christmas lights and making a peppermint mocha like coffee with peppermint schnapps.
Oh, so good.
Well, hot chocolate. It's at night, so hot chocolate and peppermint schnapps.
Someone else is driving, by the way.
I mean, yeah, for real they are. But, like, for instance, Kyle never drinks, but he loves to go look at Christmas lights. So he'll drive us up to the walk in Huntsville. And it's like a mile of lights or 2 miles or something.
Yeah, it's the galaxy of lights.
Yeah. And you just walk, and I just got my hot chocolate and peppermint schnapps, and I'm feeling it. But I wish it was pumpkin. What are you going to do, though? It's not the right time of year.
What are you going to do?
Nothing to do, I guess. By the way, is that story done?
Yeah, that's over.
Jesus, okay.
They basically imprisoned a man for life just because he was black and a scapegoat, basically.
Yeah. It's a different time, Leah.
No, it's not.
It was a different time, Leah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, then is it toast time?
I do believe that it's toast time.
All right. Let's have a toast.
All right, everybody. Hoist your glasses and let's toast Boojum and Hootenanny and Clarence because, damn, that's a terrible way to go. All right. Old Boojum's just a hobo out living his best life. He found an exhibitionist and made that girl his wife. To get away with murder, all you really have to do is be a wealthy white man with someone to pin it to. Drink.
God damn it.
What? I thought the first one was funny.
It was. But that second story is just such a bummer. You know? Really brought down my vibes.
And the fact that they never actually figured out who because they didn't care. They didn't look try to find out. So it's still a mystery who actually killed that woman. And yeah, it kind of makes me mad because there's no justice for her, and they imprisoned a dude that was probably there's like a 0.1% chance that he did it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Anyway. I'm a little drunk. I apologize. Let me get off my soapbox now.
Well, that's okay. I understand your point, and I support it as well.
Thanks.
Oh, well, I guess that's it, y'all.
That is it.
Find us on all of your social medias, Facebook and Instagram at Southern Spirits Podcast. We're on Twitter at S Spirits Podcast. Send us any of your personal stories or questions for Midweek Minis to any of those social medias or to our email address, which is southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any fun stuff to send us, like postcards, send us that stuff to P.O. Box 1743 in Hartselle, Alabama. That's Hartselle 35640. And I spelled it for you just like I promised earlier in the episode.
Callbacks, hell yeah.
And y'all make sure to check out our other show. I say our, I'm not really involved. Trailer Trashy with Leah and her 3 friends. They tell dumb true crime stories, and it is a hoot. Nanny.
Yes.
I enjoy it a lot. I love that show. But, that's pretty much it for this week, right, Leah?
It is.
All right. Yo, well, one thing real quick.
What?
Join the Patreon for your creepypasta.
Join it. Creepypasta, yeah.
Patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. And we will see y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.